Hi everybody. So for my second video tonight, I think what I did is I went through and pulled out a bunch of records by rock bands that have a brass section in them. And I just love that kind of music, and I like finding new bands that I didn't know about. So if you watch this video and one of your favorite brass bands, rock brass bands, doesn't get mentioned, let me know in the comments, and I'll check them out. Now I know there's a lot of R&B, a lot of soul, a lot of jazz that have horns, but I'm gonna try to keep this just concentrated on rock albums and rock bands. So for the first one I've got is a band from Seattle called Ball and Jack. Ball and Jack had Luther Rabb and, let's see, who was it? Ronnie Hammond, who later, who were friends of Jimi Hendrix growing up, and Jimmy took them on tour for the Cry of Love tour in 1970. So by 1975, the band had broken up, and Luther and Ronnie went on to join the band War. So if you haven't heard them, check it out. It's kind of jazzy and pretty wild stuff. I like it a lot. So for my second one of my all-time favorite bands, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. The first album with Al Kooper, which in my opinion is their best album. It's just fantastic. If you haven't heard it, you really need to do yourself a favor and check it out. Unfortunately, for the follow-up albums, Al Kooper, they didn't think he was a good enough vocalist, and they pretty much asked him to leave the band. And David Clayton Thomas got picked up, and the rest is history, as they say. So another band that had a lot of hits in the '70s, a lot of AM hits, and I just love their songs. The Buckinghams out of Chicago. This is a double album, all their best stuff. I've got their individual albums as well, but just really good stuff. Produced by James William Guercio, I think that's how you say his name, who produced quite a few other bands too, which we'll talk about here in a moment. And then the next band is Chase. Now I believe Chase was from Chicago area also. Bill Chase formed this band, and their big hit was called "Get It On," if you remember that one. So in Chase, they had a vocalist and a songwriter by the name of Jim Peterick, who later left the band and formed this band, Eyes of March, with their one big hit, Vehicle. Peterick left this band and ended up forming another band called, what was it? They did Eye of the Tiger. Survivor. That was it. So getting back to James William Guercio, another band out of Chicago that he produced, Chicago. I love anything Chicago did with Terry Kath. Once Terry passed, and the band just wasn't quite the same, in my opinion. And then when they hooked up with David Foster, of course, he made them a lot of money, but really changed their sound. And some of it's okay, but it just wasn't the same without Terry. A member went on to join Chicago in later years, was a guy by the name of Bill Champlin, who had a band out of San Francisco called Sons of Champlin. I got to see them play up in Seattle about 15 years ago, I think. And then we have a band who's pretty jazzy. It's really jazzy. It's out this band called Dreams. They claim that nothing was written or arranged. It was mostly spontaneous and music they would create just jamming in the studio or um, on stage, sound checks, things like that. And then not only is this one of my favorite bands, but this is one of my all-time favorite albums. Took me years to finally see the movie, but there is a movie of this with Harvey Keitel, and the band is in it. So if you're a fan of Earth, Wind, and Fire, by all means, check out the movie. This is one of the hard to find pressings on Impex, and I believe it's back in print right now. So if it's something you're looking for, try to find it now while you can. Okay, this next band is out of the UK, and I used to. Rolling Stone magazine was my Bible in the late '60s through the '70s, and I'd read reviews on albums that I knew nothing about, but just based on their reviews of them, sometimes I would buy an album. And this is a band that I discovered that way. If This is their second album. Their first album is good, but this is the one. This is just a fantastic record all the way through. I think I have about seven of their titles, either on album or CD. Check them out. And from the UK, we go to Canada for Lighthouse, band out of Toronto. 13 members in this band. One of the members, a gentleman named Howard Shore, became the musical director for Saturday Night Live. And he also won 3 Academy Awards for music for the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Next is a band that probably very few of you have ever heard of. But if you come across this record, I really recommend you pick it up. These guys, looks like there's 7 people in the band. They're from all over. Alaska, Las Vegas, New Jersey, Texas, Louisiana. They're all over. This is a promo copy on Decca Records, a band called Sod. My favorite song on here is the La Brea Tar Pit Blues. And then a good time party band. I'm a huge Springsteen fan. And just because they have a sax doesn't mean they're a brass band, but I do love everything Bruce has done with, especially with Clarence Clemens. But Southside Johnny, Asbury Jukes, and you want to have a party, this is it right here. And they rock. And the horn section has been on tour with Bruce a few times. I've seen several tours over the years, and I always enjoy the ones that have the horn section with them. This album, I just got into it when it came out. I just couldn't quit listening to it. Jerry LaCroix, I believe his name. He went on later to actually sing a little bit for Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Edgar Winter's White Trash. Man, good live album. It's just it's fun. I got to see Edgar once, so I was glad to be able to see him. And you've got Rick Derringer and Johnny Winter. And probably the last, but not the least, certainly, Tower Power. You're still a young man. Man, what is hip? Just so many good songs that they did. And I'm going to give an honorable mention to Sly and the Family Stone, Rare Earth, War. But like I said, if you've got some ideas for some bands that I might like, let me know. Thanks.